too tight. I got a fistful of whiskey, the bottle just bit me. Oh, that shit makes me batshit crazy. We got no fear, no doubt, all in bars out. We're going out town. Screaming like demons, swinging from the ceiling. I got a fist full of 50s, tequila just hit me. Oh, we got no class, no taste, no shirt and shit face. We got a lined up, shot down, firing back straight crowd. We're going out tonight to kick down every light, take anything we want, take everything inside. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground at night. Like a time bomb, drinking till the night's gone. Get your hands off of this glass, let's comb my ass. No chain, no lock, and this train won't stop. We got no fear, no doubt, all in Moses. We're going out tonight to kick down every light, take anything we want, take everything inside. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground tonight. We're going out tonight to kick down every light, take anything we want, take everything inside. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground tonight. My, oh my, has it been a while since we've done a kingdom, guys? Oh, I know, because I'm tired. It's been a long weekend. Half the world is on fire. My underwear is sticking in my butt because it's 105 degrees at 7:40 at night. 115 degrees here for the next 5 days. I'm not looking forward to it. I want to say congratulations to my brother Dave and my new sister-in-law Sarah. They got married last night. So I'm sleep deprived, and I had a little bit too much fun, apparently, according to the family last night. Yeah. But I'm ready nonetheless to do this live stream. It's hot. It's burning up here in the kingdom. But I'm getting ready to drop the drawbridge. And let you guys inside the castle. I'm getting ready to take my seat in the throne room. Tonight, we are going to review episode 94 of Harmony and Chaos, entitled, I don't remember. Anyway, it's episode 94, guys. I don't care about the title, but like I said, I don't know a lot of it. But we're going to get it tonight. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Kingdom. The name, the name of episode 94, I finally figured it out, was Failure and an Uncertain Future. I had to think about it for a minute. But anyway, guys, welcome to another live Kingdom. Um, I wasn't, when I got up this morning, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have the energy to do one of these, but I pulled it together and, yeah. I added an extra song to the into the intro just because I was feeling a little crazy and wanted to do an extra long intro today. I did manage to prep. An outline for tonight, so I'm not just winging it like I normally do. Before we get rolling with this live stream and the recap of episode 94. I do want to take the opportunity to say thank you to not only you guys, the fans, for sticking with the project as long as you have. I also want to thank some people who put a lot of work into Harmony and Chaos. As you guys probably may or may not know, pretty much the majority of the voice cast is gone. With a few exceptions. I'm pretty much going back to voicing the entire series by myself. There are a few exceptions. Plush is still voicing Sonic. Elijah's voicing his character, Hunter, his OC. Let's see. And then we're going to have Walker still voice Knuckles when he can. Walker's very busy, so it's kind of hard to get him there. I'm not going to divulge. Let's see. The reason why, Michael, the cast is gone, and I kind of touched base on it. I think in general in the server. Some of the dialogue you guys have, for those of you who've been watching this series from the start, or pretty much from the start, and anybody who's ever watched a Sonic MLP crossover, all of them. Most of them, if not all of them, have shipping between the Sonic characters and the My Little Pony characters. And when they're shipping, sometimes there is romantic dialogue. Now, I always double checked with my voice actors when it came down to voice acting some of these more sus dialogue, or the more like romantic dialogue, which I understand sometimes it's not comfortable to voice. I did always reach out and ask people, okay, are you sure you're comfortable voicing this? And after a while, it just got to the point where there are certain scenes that even I had a hard time voicing with certain people. There's one person in particular that I do want to thank for her incredibly hard work that she put into this series, especially the server. That would be Chica, otherwise known as Zandri. I'm not sure if she's in the chat tonight or if she will join. I'll let you know if she does, but she did a lot of work willingly behind the scenes on the server, getting the scheduling with the voice recordings that we did. She would ping people when it was their time. She has a lot on her plate, and I understand she also has a lot of other projects on her plate for her own channel and for her own projects. So I honestly have been toying with the notion since near the end of 2022 of doing the series on my own again. There's been a lot of, it's not just the little dramas that pop up here and there. It's scheduling, trying to get everybody together. And the project has slowed down quite a bit since we've gone with this actor. So I want to speed up the process again. Let's see, what else did I want to say on that? Aside from that, the last couple of weeks, I've also gone through my own, I don't want to say, I've lost a little bit of passion this last couple of weeks for the next coming episode of 95. I've just been so busy. Obviously, my brother got married last night, so it's been a lot of things going on. Mia, my youngest daughter, her birthday was yesterday, so I took her out today.
I had to like pull that together like in a hurry. But you know, aside from trying to write this series, I do a lot of other things. Going to softball games for Allie, and just living life, and also working and trying to do the series. I've sat down probably 3 or 4 times over the last 2 weeks to write, and I really haven't come up with much for episode 95. Pretty much the first 10 minutes. I'm stuck on the next scene. And where I'm stuck is the fight sequence as to who's gonna die, who's not. I've already gone 3 or 4 different ways because I didn't like what I came up with. So I'm stuck. I'm like stuck in that little moment where it's like, where am I going with this? It's like I know what I want to do, but how am I going to get there? It's like, do I kill someone? It's like, does somebody die? I don't know. But like, I will tell you, episode 95, when it starts, there's a lot of violence and a lot of death. More people, more characters or characters die in the first 10 minutes of episode 95 than the whole series. So it's like, well, I shouldn't say that, but it's pretty brutal the first 10 minutes of episode 95. But with that being said, again, I just wanted to get that out there publicly. I also want to thank anyone who's voice acted for the series that is no longer with the series. We put in a lot of hours when it came to voice recording, and I wanted to just publicly come out and say thank you guys for all the hard work you did do when you were in the series. I know some of the dialogue was hard to voice, or it was hard to voice some of it. But the thing with these Sonic MLP crossovers, again, I will say it again, one of the main topics is that these characters ship. All right. And the whole Sonic MLP crossover started way back when, probably 2013. Somewhere in there is when, and really the whole crossover in general was based off of Dash. Really, Sonic and Rainbow Dash started the whole craze of this crossover. So shipping only became part of it. And I was talking with Chica more recently, and I was like, I know some of the dialogue was, very romantic at times and was hard to voice. But think about this. If these characters did not share the emotional connections that they have, some of these moments are very intense in Harmony and Chaos because these characters are so emotionally attached to one another. There is so many emotions that these characters have gone through together. There are bonds that these characters have built up because of their personal relationships, which is why this series is so emotionally intense. And I know I chat with you guys during the episodes. I see your guys' comments. You guys are hanging on. You guys hang on all the drama. You guys are hanging on all the action. It's because you guys are emotionally invested in these characters. So that situation is what it is. I just wish that the voice actors would have came to me. Nobody directly DM'd me about what was going on, about their concerns. No one. And it wasn't until it actually happened that I find out what was really going on. I could have made changes to the script down the line. I can't change anything that I've written or that's already on YouTube. But for future episodes, I could have maybe eased up a little bit on the romantic stuff. Chica says you're welcome, you geezer. Aw. Yeah, we miss Chica. I'm glad Chica and I are still friends and we're talking. So, but other than that, we got an episode to get into. I just wanted to publicly thank everybody who was part of the series. It was a lot of hard work when we were together. So I don't want that to go unnoticed. So we start off episode 94 with Sonic and Shadow in a very emotional driven dialogue scene. So we come to find out in this opening scene, as we left off on episode 93, we find out Shadow is dead. He was ultimately killed by Sunset Shimmer while he was fighting Aeon. He was so wrapped up in fighting Aeon that he never sensed Sunset sneaking up behind him when she impaled him. As the dialogue between Sonic and Shadow unfolds, I know the big question was, well, how did Shadow survive? So as the dialogue is progressing between them, Shadow tells Sonic, I was impaled by Sunset. While I was dead, apparently Will tried to fight Aeon. He lost, and Aeon wound up draining Will of his God of Mark of Herc powers, thus becoming officially the God of Power. So once Aeon did that, he in his mind, he's very arrogant. So what he decided to do was ultimately he wanted to heal Shadow and then have Shadow see him in that form, like in that final form. And he was going to offer Shadow another chance to join him at his side. Shadow, of course, we come to find out, refused. And he powered back up into his alicorn form. And Aeon would beat him in one punch. But again, Aeon left him alive. I think the dialogue went somewhere along the lines where it's like Aeon feels like he could finish Shadow off pretty much anytime he wants. The same thing with Sonic. So basically, he's pretty much just rubbing it in Shadow's face, which is why he didn't kill Shadow again. Shadow was at his mercy. He can kill Shadow whenever he wants. He just wants to rub it in Shadow's face down the line, which is why he brought him back to life. He figures he can't beat me, so, I'm going to bring him back to life and going to torment him some more. Also during the opening scene, Sonic tells Shadow, while you were gone, Twilight had an issue with the baby. She didn't lose the baby, but she had an issue where she fainted, breaking up a fight between Pinkie Pie and Pacific Glow over Manic. You guys didn't see that in any of the episode yet, or any of the episodes that hasn't been brought to light. I'm going to get into that a little bit more as we go into the live stream. So Shadow in this moment is kind of shocked, and Sonic tells Shadow, look, you need to go home because Twilight needs you. She's been worried sick about you ever since you and Starlight went into that portal. And then she's been worried even more now that we know what happened. So they talk a little bit more about Aeon. Shadow tells Sonic, Sonic is always cocky, confident, that he can basically overcome any fight or any battle that they're in. And he assures Shadow that they're going to beat Aeon with the Harmony Chaos Cannon. And Shadow just tells Sonic, look, you didn't fight him. One punch is all it took for him to bring me down after he became the God of Power. So I don't know what you're planning on doing. Look, there's no guarantee, but you haven't fought him yet. I did. And just wait till you do fight him. We go into the opening credits after that. Before we move along with the episode, you guys know me. I like to dive into the chat. I haven't chatted yet, so let's go back. Elijah says, I think I was amused by the part of the episode way more than I should have been. He's talking about the Shadow and Hunter dialogue. I'm going to get into that a little bit later, and I'm sure Elijah will comment on it since he voices Hunter. Plush. Michael had too much fun. My gosh. Yeah. I had a little bit too much fun at a wedding. Go figure. But yeah, it was good times, and I'm very happy for my brother and my sister-in-law Sarah. They deserve each other, and they're great. They're awesome together. Absolutely love them both. Let's see. Michael Collins. I have to ask, will Sombra and Chrysalis return like in season 9? King Sombra will not return. Chrysalis, we're going to have to wait and see. If you guys remember, Harmony and Chaos Sombra is canon. Oh God. canonically dead. All right, he's canon dead in Harmony Cast. I'm not going to try to say canonly dead in Harmony and Chaos. Chrysalis are going to have to wait and see. If you guys recall, Chrysalis and Harmony and Chaos, after the battle concluded, was turned to stone by the elements of Harmony. So technically, Chrysalis is still around. She's just turned to stone at the moment. So you guys will have to wait for Chrysalis, as Elijah said. Let's see. Plush said, it took me several tries to get that one Sonic line where he wants Shadow to train with him. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get it for some reason, laughing my ass off. Yeah, and I think that wound up being, and I know what you're saying, Plush, because that was one of the lines that actually got cut from the episode. Because that was at the hospital sequence when originally Chica's characters were going to come into the series. There was a hospital sequence, and Sonic was talking with Shadow about training at Rainbow Dash's property. That scene got cut in this episode for obvious reasons. Levi asks, question, Michael, how bad would Equestria be if Sauron showed up from the Lord of the Rings? I'm not sure. A bunch of Middle Earth mortals beat him, so I guess all they would have to do is throw the ring. And I guess all of our heroes, I guess all they would have to do is send Frodo Spike up to the Dragon Mountain. Well, because then you would have because then they would have to go to the actual Mordor to fry the ring of power. So I don't know if we actually have a mountain for Sauron. We would have to. I was thinking, okay, we would have to send Frodo Spike to the dragons, and he'd have to throw the ring of power in the dragon pit of fire. Their dragon lava. Chica, do we get to fight Michael yet? Joking. Do we get to fight Michael yet? No. Last night I got into a fight with an air mattress. That was the bed I had to use at my mom's because so many people spent the night there. Yeah, I was fighting an air mattress all night. My back was killing me for the first 2.5 hours of the day. Fun. And I woke up like 4 times. That's not geezer abuse. Oh boy, here we go. Oh man. So we come out of the boo. Chica's booing me. Bozo. Oh man. I'm glad you guys are having fun in this chat. All right, so we move on to the next part. Out of the opening credits, it goes straight into Shadow dialogue with Twilight. Can you guys come up with tomatoes in the chat? Yep. Chica's calling for tomatoes in the chat. So go ahead and tomato me. Okay, back to my hideout. Chica's going back to her hideout. Oh no. If you guys ever want to tomato me for a bad joke, just throw tomatoes in the chat. That's fine. So we come out of the opening credits and we go into Twilight's castle, where Shadow finally returns to Twilight, real Twilight. And Twilight tells Shadow she was just very worried. Shadow asks how she's feeling. How's the baby? And I'm being tomatoed in the chat. Thanks, guys. They basically just reconnect with one another. And Shadow asks how Twilight's feeling and how the baby is. Twilight responds, we're fine, no worries. I had to break up a fight between Pinkie Pie and Manic's new girlfriend. And when she used her magic, she basically fainted just out of sheer
power off.
Bluetooth speaker. So anyway, so she basically just tells Shadow, yeah, my blood pressure was a little off because I had to use my magic to try to break up Peaky Pie and Pacific Glow. So I, out of exhaustion, fainted, basically. I got this status bar on here. I cannot shrink it either. It's really annoying me because I can't read the chat. There we go. So as that scene progresses, Shadow begins to tell Twilight about his experiences in the past. Shadow has always been very honest with Twilight. Ever since the wine issue, where Shadow broke into Twilight's box and stole her bottle of Dom Pérignon, he's been nothing but honest with Twilight ever since then. So he's not going to keep a secret from Twilight. So he tells Twilight what happened, that they met past Twilight in the past. They didn't mean to do it. They just kind of haphazardly, kind of just accidentally met her, as we know, in Vancouver during Will Atkinson's opening of the play. And so Shadow divulges, she got involved because we were talking with Will, and Twilight, the past you happened to be there, and in order to get you to help, or basically it just, we had to divulge some information to you to get you to cooperate and help us. Shadow said that things got a little intense between him and past Twilight, basically admitting to Twilight that he was a Twilight simp, no matter what timeline he's in. Lion God, past Twilight was thirsty. Yes, she was thirsty. But self-control came over her, thank goodness. And even present day Princess Twilight even admitted that, oh wow, yeah, past me, I was kind of a bookworm and kind of a geek. I really wasn't used to being hit on by a cute hedgehog. So yeah, I'm surprised past me didn't use my magic on you. And Shadow kind of gives like a giggle, like a ha ha ha, yeah, about that. But he doesn't really admit to that. But Twilight ultimately forgives him. She understands, and then she reiterates to Shadow well, this is why time travel has always been forbidden, because you're not supposed, because of the risk of meeting the ones that in the past, and then wind up changing the future of their timeline because you divulged too much information, which is kind of what Shadow did. He inadvertently did it, but I really do think it was unavoidable. I don't think he had to divulge to Twilight that she becomes a princess, but again, he kind of let it slip when he calls past Twilight my princess. So, he divulged a little too much information. I don't believe he told present day Twilight, of exactly how much. But let's be real, that timeline is going to be forever altered. Elijah Dodorich slices tomatoes with chaos spears. That's a good one. Michael Collins, past Twilight is real too, just in a different timeline. Correct. Plush. Oh yeah, how do you feel about the recent Lego Sonic sets coming out, and if you're interested in buying any? If I buy a Sonic Lego set, it will probably be for Allie. She's still into she's been more into baseball lately and softball, more into doing things extracurricular wise. If she's still into Legos, I would probably pick up Allie one. I myself don't have patience for Legos. That's for me. That's just me. I will tell you my next two Sonic purchases. My next two Sonic purchases are, I'm still way behind the 8 ball. I haven't even bought Frontiers yet. That's next on my game list of games to buy. And then at Walmart, I was going through the Christmas ornament section, and I saw a Sonic ornament. So those are my next two Sonic purchases. I need more ornaments for my Christmas tree. So I'm going to add Sonic and the Green Ranger, the classic Green Ranger. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. We miss you. Throw up the lightning bolts and the green hearts for Tommy the Green Ranger. I know he died several months ago, but still respect to Jason David Frank, man. He was my childhood growing up. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was brand new when I was 10. So I will always have a special love for the original Power Rangers. Always, always, always. As you can tell, because I have their music in Harmony and Chaos. Levi McCullen says, Shadow, the ultimate Simphog. Absolutely. That's what he's officially known as, I think, now in Harmony and Chaos. The ultimate Simphog. Thank you, Elijah, for the green hearts and the lightning bolts for the Green Ranger. But yes. Michael Collins, will it be forever altered, though? As you will come to realize, there is going to be another storyline. And I don't know if I mentioned this in one of the prior streams, but there is going to be a very big storyline that comes out of the past. So as we heard Queen Earthia, and I'll just go ahead and get into this now because the next scene is Cream. So this is going to segue nicely into the in-depth conversation that I have written down for Cream. The thing with Cream, or the thing is Queen Earthia, one of the warnings she gave Cream about the Aeon's amulet is that you can't destroy the amulet right now. If you destroy the amulet, all of the power that's in the amulet is going to be released. And the issue with that is the power, once it's released, goes back to its natural source. Now, the issue is that Aeon absorbed the powers of Will Atkinson 7 years in the past. So as you're going to come to see, Queen Earthia tries to explain, look, because Aeon absorbed powers from the past, those powers, if Aeon's amulet is destroyed, those powers are going to go back to the past. And in order to do that, it's going to have to open a rift in time. It's going to rip open a time rift. And Queen Earthia was ordered to avoid that at all costs. So before we really start diving into the Cream stuff, I'm going to finish reading some of the comments, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just dive into the Cream because that's what I have next written down. Elijah slowly writes Will for past self. Let's see. Lion God. Oh, yeah. Logo Sonic is a thing. Yeah, Logo Sonic. Oof. Elijah Dodorich. Things are definitely going to change in the past, Collins. And we got some emojis for the Green Ranger. Yes, the Green Ranger was my childhood. Oh, my God. I miss the Green Ranger. But now we'll go ahead, since we're caught up in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the Cream, since that was the perfect segue for it, talking about Aeon's amulet. So this whole Cream mystery behind Cream. Where is Cream? At the end of the Twilight Shadow sequence, Twilight starts to tell Shadow about Cream disappearing from Rarity's workshop, where they're working on the gala dresses at Rarity's boutique. So after that scene concludes, we go to Rarity's boutique, where Spike has met with Rarity and Capper. So Spike wants to get some more information about Cream, about, okay, did she say anything? Did Cream say anything before she disappeared, like she was going somewhere? And Rarity assured Spike, no, it just happened randomly. We were working on the gala dresses. She was talking with Capper and I, and she just vanished. Just poof, vanished into thin air. The characters, the rest of the characters who are assuming that this is an angelic mission obviously are correct. Twilight already assumed it was an angelic mission. When Cream first came back, she even told Twilight and Shadow, and she told Spike that there were chances that she was going to go away for a while. Being an angel, she would disappear, which is one of the reasons why she said she really didn't want a relationship, and why it's kind of not really forbidden for an angel to fall in love, but that's why she said, I can't fall in love because I'm going to be gone. Let's see. Gonna get back into the chat here in a minute. So Spike kind of gets angry at Rarity because you know how Rarity is. She always calls everybody darling. She has to call everybody darling. And yeah, and I really don't want to be called darling by you anymore, Rarity. So anyway, Spike gets a little upset. He leaves. Yeah, whatever, yada, yada. Rarity and Capper then this is one of the scenes that got added. Now, keep in mind, this scene wasn't going to happen originally. It was something I had to add because we cut a third of the episode. The episode was completely done at one point, and then I had to go back and cut a third of it. So then I had to add new scenes, which this Rarity, Capper, and Spike scene, where it kind of explains Cream's disappearance a little bit, where that's how that got added. So Spike, I don't really want to get into the whole Rarity, Capper. It's romance. You guys know what happens. I don't have to dive into it. I want to stick with this Cream discussion. We're going to skip a few scenes so we can continue this conversation with Cream. So a few scenes later, we get about 2/3 of the way through the episode, and we come to see where Cream winds up. She winds up in the realm of the gods, and she's meeting with the head angel, Queen Earthia. Queen Earthia is the head angel of all of. She's in charge of all the angels, basically. So she is meeting with Cream and tells Cream, we've tracked Aeon down to planet 3756, I think. 3756-R or R or whatever I called it. So it's a very desolate planet. Eclipse doesn't necessarily need a lot of resources to stay alive. I don't think so. What we don't realize is that the planet had some life on it, but Eclipse wiped it out. And this is kind of like Eclipse's base planet. It's a very desolate, isolated planet. So it's a good place for Eclipse to kind of run his whatever he's doing in secrecy. So Queen Earthia figures out that Aeon is traveling to this planet to eliminate Eclipse, to finally, after what is going to become, and it gets explained, it's 2 decades. Aeon has basically waited 2 decades to exact his revenge upon Eclipse. So he's finally ready. He's got the god of power, so now he's the god of power, and he's ready to finally exact his revenge. The mission that Queen Earthia gives Cream is it's a pretty difficult mission, considering Cream in canon MLP, in canon Sonic series, we really didn't see Cream fight all that much. She comes off as kind of like a scared, like a child. In Harmony and Chaos, I want to clear up any mess. She's in her teenage years. If you remember correctly, the Harmony and Chaos timeline picks up roughly 10 years after the Sonic X series ended. Well, not 10 years. It's 10 years after they left Earth. So Cream roughly is around 15, 16. I know it doesn't seem like it, but let's be honest, I didn't think about that when I was doing the art as much. And I know, talking with Chica last week about it, she said, I wouldn't have gave Cream a child voice if I would have known Cream was more of a teenager in the series. And that's my fault because I never clarified it. again, I was relying on people to kind of like pick up the pieces like, oh, wait, this is 10 years after they left Earth. So the characters have aged 10 years, which is why all of them seem more adult-like in Harmony and Chaos, which is why they have a little bit more sus dialogue and why they act a little bit more like adults. That's where all the confusion comes in, about the characters having them in too much romantic dialogue, but they have aged 10 years since they left Earth. Which means Amy is 22, Sonic would be 25. Shadow's already over the age of 50 if you count the years he was in captivity. Pretty much all of the main six. The main six are all in their 20s, so they're all adults. The exception is Spike. Spike is currently age 12. Cream is older. She's actually in her teens. She's 15. I'm just gonna say she's 15. I'm gonna assume she was 5 during the Sonic X timeline when they were on Earth. Tails is also much older. Tails is probably, let's see, they said he was 8, so he was always 4 years younger than Sonic. So he would probably be about 20 in Harmony and Chaos if you're going to age him 10 years. Well, he would be 18, technically. I don't know. He's 18, because if you age him 10 years from the end of Earth, when they left Earth, he would be considered 18. So, yeah. Anyway, I got off topic again. So we're going to go back into it. If somebody can leave me in the chat where exactly I left off. But, the characters have aged 10 years from when they left Earth, which is why the dialogue does seem very adult-like for some of these characters. We were talking about Queen Earthia. Before I go ahead and get back into it, you guys have chatted a lot. I'm going to go back into the chats and read some of your comments. God, I hate when this... Thank you. That's stupid. Oh, my God. Wonder if I page up. Oh, there we go. I was going to say my mouse, it's so hot outside that my fingers, like, even though I have air conditioning on, like, my hands are still, so they're slipping off the mouse over here. I'm going to scroll up a little further because you guys have a lot. Levi McClellan, question, will Dr. Pingus, a.k.a. Eggman, be in the next season? I'm not spoiling anything about Eggman. You'll have to wait and see, Levi. You'll have to wait and see. No spoilers! Michael Collins, the Pinky Manic situation could have been avoided if she simply followed orders. Exactly. Yeah, if you guys recall, what Michael Collins is referring to is the order that Sonic gave Pinkie Pie when they were under Dark Swirl's evil magic. Pinkie Pie wanted to eliminate Manic on her own, and Sonic flat out told Pinkie, no, there's no reason for it. Manic is not a threat. Pinkie Pie fired back and said, well, you don't want me to kill him because he's your brother, yada, yada. And Sonic's like, under no, sir, he's not of importance. You don't need to kill him. But Pinkie Pie went and did it anyway. Levi says true. I'm assuming that's to Michael Collins. Michael Collins then elaborates, what I mean is I could be misremembering, but Sonic ordered Pinkie not to harm Manic, but she did anyway, and that is the truth. Yes, that is absolutely the truth. What Michael Collins said, good job remembering. Yeah, had she not attacked Manic, Manic probably wouldn't have broke up with her. But again, Manic is having a hard time letting it go because it is, whether or not she's under an evil spell, it's still a traumatic experience. You're there watching your girlfriend legitimately stab you just to get you to cry so she can get more power. Because she went from the power, she went from being the element of laughter to the element of sadness. So she basically got power off of feeding off of sadness. So she was feeding off of manic sadness, basically, is what the whole point of it was. Um, Levi McClellan, I never really understood why Rarity calls everyone darling. I get it. She is the element of generosity, but calling everyone darling seems weird. Yeah, she's always done that. And in some cases, it's really weird when she's been romantically involved with Spike. As you guys recall, MLP heavily shipped. They didn't actually ship Spike and Rarity. The fan base wanted it. Never happened. Although Spike has canonly kissed Rarity on the cheek at least, and she kissed him on the cheek. So, you know, um, that would be kind of weird for a guy like Spike to be called darling by Rarity after they broke up. So yes, it would be rather weird being called, especially in Spike's case. Um, I have never known anyone who used the term darling. There's other words that people have used. I've had family members use the word kiddo for everybody or sweetie. It just depends. I've never actually heard somebody use the dialogue darling with people. So I think that's a very prim and proper. I think that's more of like a more prim and proper person type of dialogue where they refer to people as darlings. You actually see it a lot in the fashion world. If you guys watch a lot of movies, anytime there's like a movie about fashion or movie about like celebrityism, they call each other darling and they give each other the fake kisses on the cheek. The mwah, mwah. Oh, great to see you, darling. Yeah, all that stuff. So that's pretty much where Rarity is coming from. She's that kind of like prim and proper fashionista. So she's just calls everybody that. I gotta take a drink for this. So Elijah types in as Rarity. Well, darling, I happen to be rather formal as well. So there you go. Levi says true that to that. Lion God, oh yeah, Michael, Zoo Pals are back. Oh my God, Zoo Pals. What the hell? Oh my God. Levi said, so Shadow is 60 or so years old. Yes. Canonly in Sonic, I think they said he's over the age of 50. That's all they say. He's well over 50 years old. So yeah, I'm thinking he's closer to 60. He didn't age like that because he spent a lot of time in the preservation chamber on Earth. But yes, they say he's over 60. He's not. He hasn't aged like he's 60. The other thing about Shadow is that he's immortal, so he's not going to age ever. As we do know, Shadow can be killed. I guess he can die. He's much like an Alicorn in that sense, where he's not going to age or die of illness, but he can be killed. Michael Collins, I always assumed Spike was only a child in Dragon years. Yeah, but if you guys remember where we are with Canon, Harmony, and Chaos, Spike is about to enter puberty. Because he's going to get his wings, and he goes through that great molt, what they call smolder. Smolder basically explains to Spike that he's going to go through the great molt down, or whatever it's called, where the dragon goes through, their version of puberty. When they get their wings and they start shedding skin or whatever, it gets the splotchy skin. The splotchy, scaly skin that Spike gets is supposed to be reminiscent of getting acne or zits. If you guys get that reference, it's legitimately Spike entering his teenage years. So, like I said, right now he doesn't actually have his wings yet. He's going to get them down the line here because the Canon MLP series is going to cross over with Harmony and Chaos. So I am going to use some of the stuff from the Canon MLP series for like the last 2 or 3 seasons as well. I might change the Cozy Glow dialogue. I'm going to forewarn you, the Cozy Glow dialogue is going to change from what they did in the original MLP series. I am going to do more of an alternate spin on it. mainly because I don't like how they did it. I'm still going to involve Tirek, but it's going to be something different. It's not going to be the way they did it. It's going to be something a little different. I'm going to basically write it the way I thought it should have been written, but Michael Collins, I always assume Spike. Yeah, okay, he said that. Chica sips her tea. Elijah, hello again, third senpai. Yeah, Chica says I'm not third senpai. She is now an arsonist. Shaking my head. Either way, hello. Chica also wishes you good luck, Elijah. Lion God says Zoo Pals make eating fun. Oh, I do. Is that that's yogurt, isn't it? Zoo Pals? Didn't they have like Danimals? Or is it cookies? Wasn't it like, okay, Zoo Pals? Oh my God. Is that like the chocolate filled cookies? I remember like the koala bears. Like when I was a kid, we had the koala bears that were like filled with chocolate. I don't know if you guys remember those. What the hell were those called? They were called koala munchies or koala yummies. I don't remember what they were called, but they were like little koala bears that were filled with chocolate. And they were like one of my favorite things as a kid. So it's actually kind of cool that they're coming back with all of these like old school stuff that I used to like as a child that are gone. Elijah says, come on, you've already said it. Sounds scarily accurate. They're talking to Chica and Elijah are talking about something else. I think another project. Michael Collins, will you still make her an alicorn? Are we talking about Cozy Glow? Yes, Cozy Glow is going to have the same. Yeah, she's going to stay the same, basically. I'm just going to change the origin story around a little bit. I'm going to change the origin story around just a little bit. Just a little. Michael Collins said, I actually like that in the show. I love Cozy Glow, too. I think Cozy Glow is an amazing character. Oh, my God, that's right. They're animal plates. The Zoo Pals are the animal plates. Holy cow. I see, and I thought they were a snack. Oh my God. Shows how much my brain is rotting as I get older. Oy. But yeah, you're right. Oh my God, those were the plates. I think those koala bears I was talking about, can somebody like Google those? I want to say they're koala yummies. I want to say they're koala yummies. I haven't seen them in stores in like 25 years. I'm pretty sure I was like 12 when those were wiped out. But I used to love those, like the chocolate-filled koala bears. They were so good. So good. Chica's talking about a casting thing with Elijah. Well, good luck on that, Elijah. I hope you get it. So Elijah has auditioned for a role in one of a project that Chica's involved in. So I hope you get it, Elijah. Elijah, for those of you who don't know, he's got a very sinister bad guy voice. Like he can get quite frightening when he plays a bad guy. It's epic. I'm actually hoping Elijah does do a bad guy down the line. I'm gonna have to give Elijah a villain role at some point in the series. I'm gonna have to give him a villain role. Moving on through the chat. Lord X and Harmony and Chaos be like, Eon, you think you are a god. You're nothing. More that just a hedgehog with a cannon. Unlike me, I am the first of all entities, but not the original. Lion God 360, when you clean your plate, then you get to see their face. Yeah, you know what? In actuality, if you want to think about it, the marketing genius behind Zoo Pals, if you really want to think about it, How do you convince a kid to eat their plate? Well, you're not going to see what animal you have unless you eat all your food. So it's actually a good way to get the kids to eat all their food. Um, Chica's going to fight if Elijah doesn't get that part. Elijah puts woof woof zoo pals. Chica put he's not even a bad guy character. This is true. I've heard Elijah's sinister voice, and it's just it's frightening. Levi says, "Was it Koala March?" No, I want to think it's Koala Yummies. I don't know. I could look it up very easily enough. Let me see. Now I'm curious because now I got to look this up. I have to look this up because now it's gonna drive me nuts for the rest of the live stream. To be honest, I'm gonna look up Koala Yummies. Yes, it is Koala Yummies. Koala Yummies, 90s. These went out of style in the 90s. I will show you what these look like. Yes. Oh my God. So it's a Japanese-based food. Oh my God. Come on, show me the image. I want the image. No, not that image. Oh my God. Okay, so it's these little bears. They look like this. Okay. They look like that. They're little koala bears. Now, don't judge these. These are like similar to Pocky. So these were in the 90s. It's a Japanese cookie. And this is what we had in the 90s as kids. Koala Yummies. That's what it's called. And inside that little cookie, there's like a chocolate filling. And I'm going to see if I can't bring it up. They got to have one with the chocolate filling in there. Oh my God. These were so good. They were similar to Pockies. But they were delicious. I miss those things. I wish they would bring them back. But I have not seen them since the 90s. Is Eon actually evil as evil is a point of view? The thing is like, okay, the thing with Eon is not truly evil per se, not at least in Harmony and Chaos, he's not. The thing about Eon is he wants revenge, and he's so hell-bent on avenging and wiping out Eclipse that he stops at nothing to do it. The thing is that Eon wants to kind of like run the universe and once he gets the God of Power, he wants to be the power of the universe where he controls everything. And he basically wants to form this utopia under him where he's the ruler. Obviously, he's the God of Power. So he wants everybody to like admonish him as being the ultimate ruler. But he wants to do it peacefully. Like he wants to eradicate all evil is what is really his ultimate goal. Now, whether or not Eon will get to that ultimate goal of like wiping out all evil, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's see. Levi says, I got one with chocolate in it. I'll send it in the Discord server. Nice. No, it is so good. Like those koala yummies don't. I used to eat them, like binge eat those as a kid. Yeah, they were good. They were really good. It's like eating a Pocky with chocolate filling inside. Oh man, those were so good. No, Chica, I do not know who Soul Eater is. Michael, look up Death Kid on your phone right now. How about my tablet? Let's see. Death the Kid. As per typical of the live streams, we always get up Death the Kid. Ah, I see it. Good luck, Elijah. Oh my God, he looks like a badass. I'm not gonna lie. Elijah, are you voicing a badass character? Why do I get the sense? Why do I get the sense you're gonna be doing some cussing? He is the son of death. Ooh. Ooh. Elijah says, consider Eon like chaotic, neutral, and alignment. Or yes, pretty much. Well, good luck, Elijah, on becoming the son of death. Somehow I got to get back into the actual live stream and figure out where I'm at. He is obsessed with symmetry. Oh wow. So he's kind of so what you're saying is he's basically OCD. What you're saying he's basically OCD. Well, I get off track because I try to respect the chat. And then I always try to read your guys' chats because it might have something to do with the dialogue. Let's see. So we're gonna continue on with Cream. So Cream's mission is pretty simple. Literally, the only thing Queen Earthia tells Cream, your only mission is to get the amulet off of Aeon. Get Eon's amulet and bring it back. And bring it back here, so we can keep it safe for the rest of eternity. Because we can't destroy it, because if we do, it's going to open a time rift, and we can't have that. And she told Cream, you can take it by any means necessary without actually killing anyone. It's still forbidden, for you to just kill people. Angels aren't supposed to kill people. So she can't physically harm Aeon, like in that sense. But her mission is to retrieve the amulet. That's it, by any means necessary, with the exception of killing Aeon. So after that, Cream gets sent off to planet 3756R. The next thing I have is the Pinkie Pie drama. The thing with Pinkie Pie, we see Pinkie Pie in one scene in this. She is at Fluttershy's cottage, and she's just kind of heartbroken and over Manic. Her and Fluttershy have a little bit of dialogue. The main thing I want to talk about as far as Pinkie Pie goes throughout this whole thing is Princess Celestia is trying to decide what Pinkie Pie's fate is going to be as it pertains to the element of laughter. And in that Pinkie Pie scene, Pinkie Pie, she thinks about whether or not she should just relinquish the element of laughter on her own free will, mainly because she does not want to. She doesn't want to give the element of laughter that kind of power over her ever again. So she feels like she wants to give up the element of laughter. And basically we're going to come to find out in the next couple episodes, or the next episode in particular, what Pinkie Pie's fate is going to be. Because, Celestia, Luna, and Discord are having their own conversation about Pinkie Pie. Luna is trying to defend Pinkie Pie, saying, look, she hasn't been in the right frame of mind lately. Anything that, given what's happened with the element of laughter, and her being under Dark Swirl's control. The other thing she says was, you can't blame Pinkie, and Discord even said, look, you can't blame Pinkie Pie for reacting the way she did as it pertains to Manic and lashing out, seeing Manic with another girl. He's like, she just kind of, she freaked out and got jealous. With everything Pinkie Pie has done, I think we should give her a pass, or at least give her another chance before we strip her of the element of laughter. So Celestia really hasn't decided the fate yet. She's going to go to Ponyville in the next episode to basically get a feel of where Pinky is mentally. And then I think she's going to base her decision based off that. Um, but the other thing is when we see Pinky or we hear Pinky say she wants to give up the element of laughter, Fluttershy scolds her and basically tells her, no, look, it wasn't your fault. You know, we're a team. We have to stick this out. We are our Equestria's line of defense. We protect Equestria. We can't just give up so easily. The other thing that Celestia mentions, or Luna mentions, with Luna, the dialogue between Luna and Celestia was, you know, you can't easily replace an element of harmony. You would have to find another pony or another character or hedgehog or some other creature on equestrian soil who can fill in for the element of laughter. And that's not easy. So that's basically the sum up of what Pinkie Pie is going through. One of the things I do want to mention, in addition to Pinkie Pie, we never really saw what happened between her and Pacific Glow. There's going to be a little bit of a recap between Manic and Pinkie Pie in the season finale. You will get to see some of the artwork that Noba Kiwi, or Noba came up with some art. Noba Kiwi, she came up with some art between Pacific Glow and Manic. So I'm going to use that in the next episode, and it's the season finale. It'll be in the season finale that you finally see what happened and what caused Pinkie Pie to snap. So you're going to see it. You'll see it in the season finale. If not, I might even do it in episode 95 when Princess Celestia brings it back up. That's basically it for Pinky in the episode. We're going to see more of Pinky. Pinky, you'll see her, what happens to her, what gets decided in episode 95. And then she'll be a part of the season finale. Every character is basically going to be in the season finale. As it is the season finale right now. I have it written down. I don't remember what's it's. I think I literally just titled it the 1 year anniversary. And it's the Grand Galloping Gala, number 2. It's the second Grand Galloping Gala in Harmony and Chaos. And it's the 1 year. The season finale is literally the 1 year anniversary for the Mobians being in Equestria. So it's gonna, you can already tell it's going to be something big for the finale. Let's see. The other thing, we got into Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie a little bit. What is going on? And I know there's been some quiet questions about Fluttershy and Vector. Nicole Kala, as you guys saw Nicole in the chat earlier, she is under the impression we're going to get a Vector Shy ship or a Flutter Vector ship. Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? That's on Fluttershy. We know Vector has a crush on Fluttershy a little bit. Fluttershy right now is not ready to date again. She's not. So Vector and Fluttershy, if it does happen, it's going to happen very, 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 very slow and very progressively. Because Fluttershy is not ready to date again after Tails. She's not. She is open to having Vector as a friend. Pinkie Pie when Vector asks Fluttershy out, Pinkie Pie kind of hazes her a little bit, like, ooh. We know how Pinkie Pie feels about crocodile or alligators and crocodiles, considering she's got a gator as a pet. So she's kind of partial to gators. So what's really going on between Fluttershy and Vector? Right now, they're just really good. Right now, they're just friends. Vector is helping Fluttershy out with some of the duties and chores around the animal sanctuary. That's also giving Vector an opportunity to not only help Fluttershy, but to get to know Fluttershy better, and allowing them to build a connection. As you're going to see, similar to how Shadow and Twilight happened, I want Vector and Fluttershy to have kind of that same dynamic that Shadow and Twilight had, minus Shadow being a dickhead to Twilight for like the first 20 episodes. So Vector is just going to be there for Fluttershy. He's kind of going to be like a secondary Discord to Fluttershy, where he's kind of there. He's just going to be a friend, a sounding board. He's going to help her out, be there for her. And they're just going to naturally progress, and we'll see how it progresses. If they do ship, it's going to happen just naturally, and it's just going to happen slowly. Let's see. So basically, Vector asks Fluttershy out on a date. Low key, not real date, kind of / in the back of his mind. Yeah, it's kind of a date. I'm asking her, but not asking her. I'm being smooth. So anyway, he asks her to go and take him out for a tour. He wants to see Ponyville, and he was hoping Fluttershy would get out and have some fun. She originally turns it down for the day because he's got Pinkie Pie, but she tells Vector, "Look, we can go out tomorrow if you want." And Vector, without any hesitation, accepts. I've got nothing better to do, so yeah, why not? And then she actually one-ups him and invites him to breakfast. She's going to cook him a breakfast, and then they're going to go out and have a good day. Now, one of the things about the date or the tour that Fluttershy and Vector are on, I kind of left that dialogue open and on a cliffhanger. They're having breakfast, and they kind of start talking a little bit about what's going on. She doesn't want to talk about Tails, and mainly because she doesn't want to tell Vector about what happened. She's embarrassed. She's really embarrassed about how things went down between her and Tails. Vector's more shocked that Cosmo came back more than anything. When we get into episode 95 and that episode premieres, Fluttershy and Vector are still going to be on their tour of Ponyville / date. Yes, date. They're going to kind of be on, they're going to be at the tail end of it. So the next time we see them, they're going to be in the afternoon, and Fluttershy is going to divulge to Vector what happens, or what really happened between her and Tails. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Fluttershy and Vector. I know there's been I know a lot of people say, ooh, I see a Vector Fluttershy ship. Yes. It's being teased, but if I'm going to do it, I want to do it naturally. I want it to be a slow progression. The next thing I wanted to discuss, and it's a really big topic, and I think before we get into Shadow and Hunter, I'm going to see what we got in the chat real quick for any comments that came. Michael Collins, well, Levi, I am interested in Equestria's government, as it was said in the comics that Equestria has a Congress. So Celestia does have limits to her power. I think she does to a certain degree as well. I have never read the comics, but I am assuming that it's a lot of the mayors. I think it has to do with like the local governments too, like, because we've heard Celestia say in Canon MLP, well, I have to meet with the people, I have to meet with the ponies of this town to discuss what our options are for yada yada topic or yada yada issue. I've also heard her say, well, I'm going to meet with the mayor of Philly town or whatever town um, she's going to, whatever city or whatever place Celestia is going to. I have heard her say, well, I'm leaving Canterlot to go meet with this government body over there so we can discuss whatever we need to discuss. So yes, there is some sort of democracy, like monarchical democracy in Equestria, it would appear. Um, Levi put, yeah, true, but a ruler should have to look out for their subjects. It's okay if they have people to help them, but not doing anything is just poor leadership. Michael Collins, I chalk it up to stagnation as when she does act. It's usually far too late. Yes, it's always far too late when Celestia acts. But isn't that the case in any heroic series where good has to fight evil? The good guys are always a step behind, darn it. Why can't the good guys be a step ahead for once? So many great games are coming this year, and I'm so excited. That was from Lion God 360. Levi shares the sentiment. I'm Michael Collins. I've always wondered how Equestria is ahead of other nations when the ponies are so stagnant. Levi says, yeah, true. Ship is real. I guess that's what they're saying about Fluttershy, perhaps Fluttershy and Vector. Chica is back again. Chica also says the villains are better than good guys, / joking. Yeah, the bad guys are definitely more interesting. I definitely will say they are more interesting than the good guys. Their dialogue is always better. A good villain. The thing is like the thing with a good villain is that when you have a good villain as a writer, you don't want to write that character off. You don't want to kill that character off. It's impossible to do it. The fans don't want to see that villain go away because that villain is so villainous that they make the show good. But yes, yeah, I see what you're saying there, Chica. Villains always have the best. They have the best dialogue. They have the best story. They have like these really gruesome and sometimes very gruesome, very real backstories as well. Like their rise to villainism. Is that even a word? Villainism, or I don't know. But their rise to villainy is always interesting, like what their backstories are. And it's always more interesting than the good guys. Because it always seems like the good guys, either their parents were murdered or like they were chosen to be good guys or chosen to be heroes. They never actually want to be heroes. They're always forced to be heroes. It's like, oh, really? We have to do this? But we actually saw that in My Little Pony, where at first it's like, oh, do we really have to do this? And then they were all kind of like, yeah, let's be the elements of harmony. And yeah, they all kind of went with it at that point. Michael Collins, I mean, she can't rein in Naysay, so that is proof of her limits on power. This is very true, and we're actually going to see Naysay in future seasons of Harmony and Chaos. When Twilight does build the School of Friendship, which she is going to do in canon HC, she is going to build and erect the School of Friendship, which is, yeah, that's going to be an interesting spin. Keep in mind, I've also teased Katana, which if some of you guys watched my other series, which is canceled, Twilight's Kingdom, you guys remember Katana. I'm actually going to bring Katana into Harmony and Chaos, and I'm going to finish that story up. I'm going to redo it. I didn't like where I was going with it, and I wanted to focus more on Harmony and Chaos, which is why Twilight's Kingdom went away. So we're actually going to bring Dapper's sister Katana into the series as well. But if you guys watched the Twilight's Kingdom series I was doing, yeah, I'm going to finish that in Harmony and Chaos. Because it was, like, some of that stuff was, Naysay was involved in some shit in Twilight's Kingdom. He was secretly working for a bad guy in Twilight's Kingdom. And I want to finish that story. I want to finish that story, but I want to do it in Harmony and Chaos. Um, the only difference is we're not going to have bumbling Trixie, unfortunately. Yes, Michael, you're going to regret writing off the great and powerful Trixie. You've regretted it for 5 years. Michael Collins, I personally think Naysay is well intentioned, but his actions went the wrong way. Yeah, I always thought Naysay was kind of a douche, to put it mildly. Like, the fact that he is talking crap and trying to like prevent Princess Twilight from opening the School of Friendship, I think is ridiculous. It's kind of like, wait, buddy, she's a princess. Like, you can't you can't talk to a princess like that. It's like this man should be thrown into a dungeon. Or this man, this that stallion should be thrown into a dungeon, to be honest with you. Um, Elijah said, I mean, look at Nightshade. He was once a villain himself, yet he managed to endure. Ah, yes, good old Nightshade. Yes, and quite frankly, I'm tired of not being in this show, Michael. You need to start writing me in. Yeah, I have interesting stories. But I do promise I will be back, Elijah. I will be back. Keep in mind, yes, all of the main cast will be in the finale. Chica, oh God, Katana, I remember her. Yes. Um, she also says Elijah got a callback for the role. I know this because I've advised Rachel to do callbacks. Nice. Elijah puts in, yep, Capper's sister who wanted to release their mother. Yes. Yes, and that story will continue as I had it. So it's going to just I'm going to start it over, but it's going to have the same storyline. Same exact storyline. Philia, yawn. Oh my God, Philia, raspberries. Um, Michael Collins put, I mean, he's not wrong as Twilight and the others are not qualified to teach. I mean, it's true, but they are. The thing is though, they are qualified to teach as far as the values of friendship are concerned. Maybe they don't have teaching degrees. Maybe that's where I get Naysay has a job to do as being like the head of education in Equestria. Like, I get that's his job. But the big thing, I think the other big argument that Naysay had about the School of Friendship was, the power of friendship is so powerful that it could be used for corruption. You're teaching all these other races. You're teaching, and Naysay kind of came off as a racist because he was kind of like, you can't be teaching dragons the values of friendship and changelings, and you're teaching all these other races and species on our planet. You're teaching all these other tribes the values of friendship, and we know how powerful friendship is. You're teaching them about it. How do you know they won't turn around and use it against the pony race? So he's kind of like low key being like a racist, to be honest with you. Naysay, like low key. Let's just be honest. Um, Philia says yawn again. I think I read that one already. Do, 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 do. Let's see. Philia, well, Chica asked Philia, do we get to beat Shadow and Michael up yet? No, Philia, no, you don't get to beat me up, unfortunately. You were doing it emotionally. When you were in this episode, you were already emotionally abusing me in this episode. Michael Collins put, well, Mike, the other nations are not used to diplomacy as they were always extremely isolationist. Yeah. And sadly, we are going back into the isolationist mode. I personally, I don't want to get into like political stuff like in real life, but like the world is definitely heading for more of a socialistic type of a thing, more than isolationism. But isolationism, we went through that in 2020, definitely. Ophelia still wants to kick Shadow's ass. But yeah. I digress. We got to get back into the chat or back into the stream. We left off. One of the another next points I want to talk about is Shadow and Hunter. So Elijah, get ready. So Twilight and Shadow are enjoying like a very quiet day at the castle. All of the residents seem to be out for the day, enjoying a lovely mid-spring afternoon or morning. As Twilight and Shadow are having their dialogue, talking, just making small talk, whatever, Spike walks in and interrupts the conversation and says, tells Shadow he has a visitor. Shadow goes with Spike to the library or the den. I forget where it was per se. I want to say maybe it was Twilight's. Maybe I think Twilight and Shadow were in. I don't remember. It's either the library or the den. So they go. Shadow goes in and he meets with Hunter. Shadow is quite shocked to see Hunter again. Shadow basically wants Hunter to just leave him alone. Remember the last time Shadow saw Hunter was right before Shadow and Starlight entered the time portal to go back to past Equestria to confront Aeon. So they kind of left off on this tense moment. We come to find out that Hunter wants to make peace with Shadow, but the question remains, does Shadow want to make peace with Hunter? Shadow is very skeptical to see Hunter at first. One of the reasons why Shadow is he's not happy to see Shadow or not happy to see Hunter, not optimistic, is Hunter was created by Dr. Eggman. He was created by Eggman's thoughts using the Master Emerald. So Eggman used the Master Emerald. When Eggman stole the Master Emerald, he used the Master Emerald to create Hunter. The reason he created Hunter is he created Hunter to be a better version of Shadow. He thought that by creating Hunter by using the Master Emerald, he would be able to create a better version of Shadow, more powerful. He thought that by creating Hunter, he can push Shadow to be better, to be stronger, to maybe do his bidding more, become more evil, and to really get Shadow more powerful to defeat Sonic. I got the hiccups now. Oh my. So as the dialogue continues, they have a very interesting moment where Hunter goes off. Hunter's a very calm, lucid character overall. He doesn't lose his temper very much. He basically tells Shadow, "Look, I was more of a slave than you I was more of a slave than you were to Eggman, you know." And I think in Hunter's mind, he felt like he had to do Eggman's bidding because it was his creator. Kind of like Shadow at first, when Shadow felt obligated to Dr. Eggman. Because Eggman, two things. Eggman is the one who released Shadow on Earth at the, I want to say it was the prison colony. That prison colony is where Shadow was. So they released Shadow from the prison island, and then they go into outer space to the space colony arc. And that's where Shadow kind of feels obligated to Eggman. And they find out, Shadow comes to find out that Eggman is actually the grandson or the son. I forget. Somebody correct me. I am not going back. I don't know if he is Gerald's grandson or son. I forget. It's one of the two. I think it's his grandfather. I think Gerald is the grandfather. I know there's a lot of fan made stuff where Eggman calls It's the Alfred one with Sonic Adventure 2, where Alfred as Eggman. We all know the epicness of Alfred, where he calls Gerald Daddy. So yeah, it's grandfather. That's where I get confused because Alfred calls him Daddy in the Sonic Adventure 2 dub, which is, if you have never seen, there's no way nobody in this chat hasn't seen it. It is one of the best. It is one of the best video game dubs ever created. So look up Sonic Adventure 2 if you haven't seen it. It is easily the funniest fucking thing that I have ever seen as far as dubs. Yeah, he is pissing on the moon. Yeah, we're quoting Eggman. Absolutely, from that. Yeah, it was hilarious. Lion God said it was hilarious. Plush. What the? Is that Shadows? Yeah. It's a must-see. If you've never seen it, which I doubt anybody in this chat hasn't seen it, Sonic Adventure 2 dub. It will probably be the first thing that pops up when you do it. It is epically hilarious. They also did Sonic 06, which was also funny. They did one. So that group, I recommend anything that they've dubbed for Sonic. I recommend. It's always funny. Thanks for correcting me. Yes, it is grandson. I figured it was. I'm going to scroll up a little bit more. Trying to see if there's anything relevant. I'm going to go ahead and continue. Yeah, but the Sonic Adventure 2 dub was one of the funniest. It was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen on YouTube. Period. It is absolutely hilarious. So as Shadow and Hunter continue their dialogue, Shadow basically tells Hunter, "Look, I don't like how you were very condescending and you were always very critical of me." And Shadow just didn't like it. And that's when Hunter says, I was more of a slave to Eggman than you were, and I was created by his thoughts, so I felt obligated to have to help him. As the dialogue progresses, we find out that Hunter eventually turns against Eggman once Hunter starts to realize that Eggman is the real bad guy and the real villain, and Sonic and his friends are pretty cool. As we would come to find out, we go back to season 1 of Harmony and Chaos, in episode 4, and it's already out. It's already out in the reboot. Where Starlight traveled to Mobius, and during the fight with Shadow, Eggman winds up sending Hunter out to fight Shadow. Shadow is already transforming into his dark form because he is enraged because Eggman has lied to Shadow about saying, he killed Starlight. He's telling Shadow, Eggman's telling Shadow, I killed Starlight. So Hunter, as we would come to find out, goes out to try to tell Shadow, no, Eggman's lying. He didn't kill Starlight. She disappeared. But Shadow, already transforming into his dark form, let his rage take over. So he really wasn't listening to Hunter in that moment. So Hunter is forced to protect Eggman in that moment. Of course, we would expect dark form Shadow to obliterate him, which he did. Hunter got obliterated by Dark Shadow protecting Eggman. Now, where Hunter starts questioning Eggman in the dialogue, he tells Shadow, where I started questioning Eggman is the fact that he just left me for dead and really didn't care to check up on me, even though I literally pretty much gave my life to protect him. It was Sonic and his friends who nursed me back to health and took care of me. And, that's when Hunter starts befriending Sonic, and starts secretly befriending Sonic. And it comes down to another moment where I don't remember exactly how it goes, but there's another moment where I think Hunter wants to leave Eggman, and he goes to tell Eggman he's leaving the organization, he's leaving the Empire, and he's going to go out on his own. And as um, Hunter is going into this dialogue, he's attacked from behind by a mysterious creature. We don't know who it is, but and if you know who it is, please don't spoil it. I think one of you, Elijah, you know who it is. Please don't spoil it, because I told you I told you who it was, who actually shot Hunter from behind, impaling him, and that's what led Hunter to go to Equestria. Um, he woke up on Angel Island, and Knuckles healed him with the Chaos Emeralds, and then Hunter asks to use the Chaos Emeralds powers to teleport to a safe world where he doesn't have to worry about Eggman um, ever again. So that's how Hunter winds up in Equestria, and he kind of explains that to Shadow, that he wound up in Europony, and that's how he met Fidget. He met Fidget in Europony, and Fidget offered him a job in exchange. Well, Fidget offered him a place to live in exchange for working at the museum. Because at the time, Fidget turned Nightshade's castle into like a Europonian museum, because Fidget was a historian. And that's how Fidget and Hunter became friends. Um, Hunter explains that dynamic to Shadow. And I forget how they got into it, but during this dialogue, Hunter gets in, somehow tells Shadow about the microchip that Eggman installed in. There's like a space in the gap there, like right around here where the microchip is. It's underneath the like shoulder blade, like in a little, because the shoulder blade, you have like a slit in your rotator cuff. So like it's inside like that little area. Um, so Hunter's brilliant idea is to perform a surgical procedure to quickly extract Shadow's microchip. So when Hunter finds the microchip, he kind of touches Shadow like where it is, and he pushes in on it, and that's when Shadow goes, "Oh God! You didn't have to do that. You could have just told me where it was, you sicko." So um, the whole next part of the dialogue is, and this is where Elijah was saying, this is where it gets kind of funny. He's trying to convince Shadow to let him do a surgery on him, like right there in Twilight's castle. Like, hey, this is a very quick procedure. All I have to do is like make an incision, and I can literally pull the microchip out. You just have to be able to withstand a little bit of pain. Now, I don't know about you guys. There have been 2 instances of my life where I've had to have something surgically removed from my body. As a kid, I used to walk around barefoot a lot. I was walking around. I don't know if it was my grandmother's house or I don't know how I wound up, but when I was 12, I wound up with a piece of ceramic tile stuck in my foot, like underneath my big toe. And my foot had swollen up, and I had a pus ball that big, around this big. It was around that big, to the point where I could not wear shoes. I was in that much pain, and it was that badly infected. They actually had to go in and surgically cut me open and pull with tweezers, pull the piece of ceramic tile out of my foot, which I'm going to say it's some of the worst pain I've ever experienced. It was very painful. I kind of like, being 12 years old. I mean, I didn't cry. I had tears in my eyes, but they attempted to numb me, but I wasn't numb that far because it was in deep. So When they pulled it out, I was literally biting on my hand. Like there were teeth marks on my finger because I was in that much pain. But that's basically what the surgery was. Like Hunter knew where the microchip was, so he makes the quick incision, and he just goes in with with tweezers and easily can pull it out. Like literally what it was. It's just a matter of Shadow going and getting through. I would say about 10 to 20 seconds of pain. It was 10 to 20 seconds of excruciating pain when I went through it. Um, but yeah, they got, for me, they got the ceramic tile out. The piece of ceramic tile was pretty big. It was about that big. It was pretty big. It was a big piece of tile that got wedged in my foot. So, I mean, it's about the size of a microchip. So this story that I did in Harmony Chaos was kind of based off my real life experience of having a ceramic tile piece removed from my foot. So it's similar to that. Plush as Jesus, man, that sounds awful. I cringe at the thought of something like that happening to me. Yes, like I said, it was about 10 to 20 seconds of like excruciating pain. So I was literally like biting on my finger as hard as I could because they thought I was numb. I was not numb. I went home for like an hour and a half as they were numbing my foot, which was never numb. Not that far in. Anyway. Michael Collins, I wonder will Eggman appearing change our main character's views on humans, especially Twilight, if she even went to the egg world? Well, the thing is they've kind of given Twilight and Princess Celestia already have an idea about how Eggman is, that he's pretty relentless and he pretty much will attack randomly and nonstop. Elijah put, after explaining his relationship to Nightshade, Shadow asks if Hunter is done with Eggman. Yeah, that was the bit of dialogue. Thanks, Elijah. So yes, the moment where, that's how they got onto that topic. So when Shadow asks if Hunter was done with Eggman, he says, yes, I'm done because Eggman thinks I'm dead at this point, because that's when he was attacked by that being, that mysterious being who shot a beam of energy through Hunter. I keep wanting to call Hunter Elijah. Sorry, Elijah. So like, it's a mysterious being. We don't know who did it, but this character currently works for Eggman. So we don't know who did it. We're going to see. Elijah as Shadow. This is what he comments. Right, because I'm going to allow you near me with a scalpel. Yeah, that was the funny part. I almost, it took me a couple tries. Like I had to like giggle. I tried not to giggle during that part because I just thought it was funny dialogue too. Said, yeah, like I'd let you near me with a scalpel, dude. Like, Jude 3300 says hi. They also ask a question: can you imagine Sunset Shimmer in the series? Just curious. Sunset is in Harmony and Chaos. Sunset will not be in the she will not be in the Twilight's Kingdom arc or version of Harmony and Chaos. Levi, I'm not gonna. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, Levi. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, Levi. I recently had my own health scare. I'm not going to go into the details. I went through I had to go on pills for it and whatever, but I had I won't get into my brother. See, me and my brother went through the same thing. I had a minor blood clot in my leg, so I was in a lot of pain, especially when I was sleeping. sleeping was very, very hard for about 2 months. And then it had gotten so bad, and like the black and blue mark I had got so bad that I had to go to the doctor at that point, because it was getting to the point where I couldn't go 30 minutes in bed asleep at night without being in immense pain, and like my leg would go numb. So I had to get that taken care of. It was a minor blood clot, and like I cleared up with like medication. That was like my recent health scare. My brother Danny actually went through it earlier in the year. Ironically, he went through it in January, and he had it in the same exact spot as mine, right above the knee. It was the weirdest thing. That him and I went through it within 4 months of each other. It was so weird, because even I like I told him, I'm like, bro, like they found the blood clot like in the same area as yours was like 4 months ago, and he's like, well, they'll probably just put you on blood thinners and it'll clear it up. He's like, if it's anything like mine, it cleared up in like 2 or 3 weeks. He's like, but he can't, he couldn't drink during it. Levi put, yeah, it wasn't fun, and I was only 7 when it happened. And then when I woke up from operation, I couldn't even close my eyes due to how painful it was. Oh my God. Well, like how? Like, how do you not close your eyes? Or just that it wasn't, oh my, like, wow. Because you have to close your eyes. Otherwise, you'll get like an eye strain. So how do they do that? So like how were you able to like not have your eye damaged? Like if you couldn't close them, what did they do? Because they had to do something. You had to. But I'll wait for Levi's response. So continuing on, Shadow does allow, with Twilight's urging, how Hunter talks Shadow into this. Hunter tells Shadow, look, Eggman has already tracked you here using your microchip. So what's not to say he won't create another control? He never really had a control on Shadow, but because Eggman never felt like he had to make a remote to control Shadow. But Hunter says, look, Eggman can easily go and get control of you again. All he has to do is create a control that gives him control of you. And you wouldn't want that for Equestria. Twilight, it's ultimately Twilight who convinces Shadow to go through with it. The way she does it is you're helping Equestria in the long run. And number two, it's you're helping Equestria in the long run. And really, it's a good way for you to boost your trust with Hunter. Hunter wants to be your friend. He wants to bury the hatchet. What better way than burying the hatchet than burying the hatchet? Or in this case, burying the scalpel. Like Hunter is literally going to bury the hatchet into Shadow's shoulder. So I guess that is like literally burying the hatchet. But yeah, Elijah puts, as Twilight, actually, it's a great way to build trust. Elijah is so good with remembering the exact dialogue. As a matter of fact, in episode 95, in the opening sequence, I do use Elijah's dialogue from episode 94. He left a comment in the comment section. I am using that dialogue to open up episode 95. So, yep, I'm actually using Elijah's real dialogue in an episode. Plush put, I don't know when my birthday special will be when I make it. When I turn 17 in 3 days, maybe a Plush video. I still have to finish watching Meme Time 7 Plush. I got about 10 minutes. Excuse me. I got about 10 minutes into it, but I was watching it on break, so I forgot to go back to it. But I thought it was hilarious. Meme Time videos are hilarious. 10 minutes into it, I was laughing my ass off. It was Monokuma and Freddy Fazbear talking about their game They were in their dialogue talking about their game, uh, the comparisons between their games, and it was actually quite funny. I was laughing quite hysterically at it. Then again, anytime I hear a really good Monokuma, I laugh. I find it to be hilarious. Um, Levi says he was put on sleeping gas when it happened, but when he woke up, it was difficult for him to have his eyes open or closed. So they had to put me back on sleeping gas until they thought it was like, oh my god, that is horrible. Levi, I am so sorry you went through that, my guy. I'm so sorry that you went through that. That sounds worse than my foot. I couldn't. Oh, oh my god, that sounds brutal. That sounds brutal, man. Ugh. Like my grandpa has cataracts really bad, and there are times like they have to like remove it. They have to remove part of it or whatever he has. They have to like remove whatever the obstruction is from his eyes. And my grandpa was telling me they took like a shot, and they have to give him a shot. It's like a numbing thing. They give him a shot right in the eyeball. I cannot imagine somebody sticking a needle into my eyeball so they can numb it. I'm like, no, 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 no. Nobody is injecting my eyeball with numbing agents. No way. Are you anybody sticking a syringe in my eyeball? No way. That no, no, no. That's cringe all in itself. No, I'm like I don't know how my grandpa sat there and let them do that. My brother Chris had same thing where they had to inject his eyeball. I'm just like, oh God, no, 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 thank you. Um, Nicole put, as a kid, I cried every time they had to put me to sleep for surgery. Yeah, I've only had one surgery that I had to be put to sleep for. Um, yeah, and that was to my digestive tract. Um, Part of my intestine was dislodged, so they actually had to reattach it. It came out of alignment, so it was causing a lot of stomach, and it's one of the reasons why I have stomach issues, like I do. Um, but they fixed it, and it's not a big deal. I went through it. Yeah, that was the only time I went through surgery. I was only in surgery for 45 minutes. It was like a minor thing, but it was causing me to have like intense pain in my stomach, and I was getting infections a lot, so they had to take care of that. That was the only time I had surgery. Um, I guess if you count the time where they had to pull the tile out of my foot, that's not really a surgery. They call it lancing. They have to lance your foot. So basically, they do the pus. They drain all the pus out of it so they can pull. Yeah, it was a blood infection, basically. So they had to pull the tile out. That was the only other time I really had to go under the knife. Um, Michael, have you ever watched Rainbow Roundup? A round trip, Rainbow Round Trip. Oh, is that an MLP thing? Because I remember seeing the Rainbow movie where they go to that black and white town and they bring the town back to color. I remember that movie. If that's an MLP thing, I do remember the Rainbow Round. If that's what the Rainbow Round Trip is, yes, I've seen it. It's been 2 years. Was it 2 years? May have actually been longer. I think I was still married when that came out. Um, Plush agrees the syringe in the eye is the absolute worst. Yeah, I don't know how anybody does that. There's no way they would have to put me to sleep to do that. Like it's like no, just put no. I don't. God, I don't even know what that would be like. It's like you can't put somebody to sleep because then you're gonna have to hold their eye open. Oh my God. Oh, I can't imagine. That's just cringe. I cringe whenever I think of anything going into my eyeball. It makes me cringe. Um, Yeah, Michael Collins agreed. We pretty much all agree that getting anything to the eye would suck. Ugh. Nicole says I was like 9 or 10 when it happened, and she hated it. Um, Lion God says Rainbow Road Trip. I mean, oh yeah, I heard of it. Yeah, it was. I think there was an MLP movie. I want to. It came out. I don't know if it came out at the end of season 8 or it was somewhere like mid-season at season 9, or if it came out after MLP was over. I remember watching it, and I'm pretty sure I was still married. I may have still been married when that came out. I don't know if that was post MLP series. I think it was during season 9. So to finish off the Shadow Hunter stuff, God, I've been online for streaming for 2 hours now. Oh my goodness. So Hunter and Shadow, we end their scene with them kind of coming to an understanding. And Shadow appears to want to try to befriend Hunter, or at least give friendship a shot with him. But yeah, he's going to be open to giving Hunter a chance to being friends. I love that line. Oh my God, Elijah in the comments put, "How are you feeling?" I thought that line was delivered so good. It was it was a good way to deliver that line. I thought that was pretty cool. How that line was delivered by Hunter, or by Elijah as Hunter. Elijah thinks it was after season 8. I remember the Christmas movie, the heartwarming movie. I know that came out after season 8. I know the heartwarming movie came out after season 8. I don't know if the Rainbow Road Trip came out at the mid-season finale of season 9 or if it was after season 8. I don't know if they did 2 movies and then did season 9. Let's see. Lion got put, that special is worth it for the animation alone. Yeah, the animation was really good in that one. I like that extra. I also like the heartwarming movie they did. There was a very sweet moment between Rarity and Spike at the end of that movie. And I thought that in season 9, they were going to kind of ship Spike and Rarity after Rarity kissed Spike on the cheek. I thought for sure we were getting a Spike Rarity ship for season 9. And then we even went further and we got a tease from M.A. Larson. If you guys remember who M.A. Larson is, M.A. Larson was one of the writers for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And he tweeted one day, and I remember reading the tweet. He tweeted that if he was the guy who was writing the series finale of MLP, he was going to do Rarity and Spike wedding. Was going to be his season, or he was going to end My Little Pony with Rarity and Spike getting married, is how he was going to end MLP if he would have wrote the last episode. It was going to be a Spike and Rarity wedding. But I think he was going to have Spike be older. Elijah types in as Hunter, "Wow, friends now, huh? There's a reference I didn't think I'd hear between us. Maybe you are becoming a bit of a softie." And he laughs. "Shut up! I'm not a softie. And I swear, Ophelia, if you're still in the chat, you better not agree to that." Levi says, to answer your question, Elijah, I feel like depression. Oh. Oh, man. Michael Collins says, considering dragons can outlive most species, yep. They also age pretty quick, too. Like, they grow fast. I don't know what type of dragon Spike, if he's one of the smaller ones, like Queen Ember, because Queen Ember is one of the smaller type of dragons. So I don't know if he's just going to stay small or if he's going to grow. I don't think Spike is going to grow into one of the big ones where he flies. Obviously, when he gets angry, Spike grows into a huge 200-foot tall wrecking ball, when he gets angry. But that's all I got for the Hunter and Hunter Shadow dynamic. The last little thing, we get into the end. Another shocking end to Harmony and Chaos episode. And it's a prelude. We literally see Cream landing on planet 3756R. So Cream comes to the realization that she's never used her powers. She's never truly tested out the full dynamic of what her powers are. Now, if you remember from Sonic X, now this is where I said I was going to come back to Cream. If you remember from the Sonic X series, there where Cream gets into it with Emerald or ML. It's one of Eggman's robots that she becomes really good friends with. Now, Emerald can copy and learn all of Sonic's moves. So basically, ML obliterates Sonic and he obliterates Knuckles, Rouge. So Cream gets very angry and upset with Emerald. So she goes into this fit of rage, and then during Sonic X, you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, Cream can fight! Oh my God, Cream's pretty tough." But as it turns out, the Emerald did not know any of Cream's moves because Cream never fought. So there's no data on how Cream fights, so which is why Cream was able to defeat him. But the the way Cream went into savage mode in that episode was good, and I always remembered that. And I was like, I have to do a scene. I have to somehow bring that out of Cream in this episode, or in one of these episodes that are coming up. I don't know if I'm going to have. I don't know how the dynamic is going to work with Cream 100%, and how much of a role she's actually going to play in the fight. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. And I think we're actually going to have a pretty good conversation on it. So as Cream realizes she hasn't really tested out her powers, she thinks, okay, I think it's a pretty good idea for me to test my powers, because this could draw either Aeon, or this could draw Eon out of hiding, or it could draw Eclipse out of hiding. So Cream just randomly fires a small portion of energy at the mountain range. She blows up some mountains in the distance. And she is shocked by what little power she released, what kind of an explosion it caused. So luckily she didn't, maybe unluckily she didn't hit Eclipse with it. But the force of the explosion alerts Eclipse's henchmen of Cream. And they're more shocked that Cream is the one who was behind the energy blast. I gotta take a drink for this. So I didn't really give the henchmen a name. I just called it Henchman 1 and Henchman 2. So Henchman 1, I kind of based off of Imperfect Cell. "Hey, little girl, did you see who was responsible for that attack?" And Cream's like, "No, she goes, "Yeah, I was." And Henchman 2 was, "There's no way a little girl is responsible for an energy blast like that. There's no way you can believe her." And Cream says, "Well, I was. I rest assured I was. And I seek an audience with Eclipse, your boss." And then one of the henchmen goes, "Look, when Eclipse finds out that you're the one responsible for that explosion, little girl." Oh my God, I lost my voice. Cell legitimately destroyed my voice. Imperfect Cell. It took a couple of takes to do that. But Imperfect Cell just destroyed my voice, guys. Bravo. Thank you, Imperfect Cell. So, anyway, Eclipse does see Cream, and he tells his henchmen to stand down. If it's an audience with me she wants, it's an audience with me she'll get. So during the conversation, Cream tells Eclipse what is going to happen, that Eon is coming to kill him. And of course, Eclipse, having defeated Eon multiple times in the past, or as a version of his henchman, just kind of laughs it off. Laughs it off, doesn't think anything of it. And then Aeon shows up. And that's where the episode ends. The episode ends with Eon showing up, challenging Eclipse, and Cream attempts to attack Eon first, to try to get his amulet. And as we see, Eon teleports over to over to Cheese, and he grabs Cheese and he tosses Cheese over to Sunset Shimmer, where Sunset Shimmer is going to essentially keep Cream in line by holding Cheese hostage. And that is where the episode comes to an end, with Cheese being held captive by Sunset Shimmer and Cream being absolutely powerless to do anything, as now Eon has to fight Eclipse. So, with that being said, we come to the end of the episode. Now, I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think is going to happen between this Eon, Eclipse, Cream, and Sunset Shimmer moment. How you guys think it's going to play out? Will Cream succeed in her mission? Will Cream not succeed in the mission? Will one of these characters get killed? Will a multitude of these characters get killed? I kind of gave a little bit of away earlier in the podcast where I said it's a massacre at the very start. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and get back into the chat because I see you guys have chatted quite a bit since my last stop. Let's see. Oh, I'm going further up. I don't want to go further. Okay. Levi said Spike just turns into the king of the monsters, Godzilla, LOL. Pretty much. I think he was less scary in My Little Pony when he transformed into his massive form, and it was his lust for diamonds. It was greed. I think it was greed that turned Spike into a dragon, like that massive dragon in the MLP series. And it took Rarity to get him to calm down. Elijah Dodoret's second kicker. Cream often fought with Cheese in unison, and thus Emerald couldn't copy them both. Yeah, and I don't think Emerald actually had a database on Cheese either, because I think Eggman had studied Sonic for so long that he was able to ingrain something in Emerald. Cream had her Gohan moments, says Lion God. Yes, Cream had her Gohan moments. Of all the characters that was given a Gohan moment. Nicole says, I was shocked at the end because the threat to kill Cheese if Cream does anything. Yeah, that was a shocking moment. But like always, I always find a way to kind of leave it in a moment where it makes you want to watch the next one. That was kind of like a crappy way to end it. Oh no, right before the fight. Oh man. But I promise you the fight happens in episode 95. Right now, I'm just kind of stuck on which direction I'm going. I actually wrote something completely different a week ago, and I don't like it. So now I'm changing it again. And this is the issue where I'm at. I've changed this part 4 times already. And I just cannot figure out what I want to do here. I kind of narrowed it down to 2 different ways. And out of the 2 that I'm left with, I'm kind of leaning toward more of the one than the other. So I'm getting kind of close. It's just a matter of changing a little bit of the details in between. Levi says, will we see more of Nightmare Sonic or no? Yes. Yes, we are going to see more of Nightmare Sonic. I'm going to have Nightmare Sonic be kind of a recurring character in the series because he is going to be Sonic's muse. he is going to kind of just be silent Sonic's partner, training partner, when he has to really do some training. And then keep in mind, like every time Sonic like creates him, when Sonic creates that evil version of himself, it has the equal power to what Sonic's power is. So he's able to like essentially fight himself. So now that's where it gets kind of interesting with Nightmare Sonic. But Nightmare Sonic is actually going to become a pretty important character. He's going to push Sonic to new levels of power, as we're going to see. They're going to be part. They become like really good sparring partners for one another. So it's going to be interesting. They kind of learn to buddy with each other. It's just an interesting dynamic, and it gives me a chance to voice Nightmare Sonic. Nightmare Sonic is probably my favorite character that I've ever voiced in Harmony and Chaos so far. I would have to say he is my favorite character I voiced. It's between him or voicing Dark Swirl. It's between Dark Swirl and Nightmare Sonic, who ironically are both villains. Though Nightmare Sonic's not really a villain now. He's still villainous, but he's not really a villain now. Like I said, he's gonna help Sonic now. And it's really Sonic's creation now at this point, magic creation. So Sonic basically can create Nightmare Sonic in his own image. So it's different. It's pretty cool. Plush says, meanwhile, Eclipse, eyes open wide. Elijah Dodorich, I wonder if my alicorn powers can help. I wonder if they could. I was thinking about that. Levi. So Nightmare Sonic is basically Fleetway, since Fleetway manifests himself in Sonic's body. Yes and no. Again, Sonic has alicorn magic in this series, so Sonic is going to use his alicorn magic because Twilight taught him how to create copies of himself. So it's basically just Sonic using his magical abilities to create the copy, the evil version of himself. Because Sonic feels like the evil version of himself is going to push him to a new level of power. But yes, it's kind of like that, kind of not. It's more just Sonic using his magic. But yeah, it's similar. It's definitely similar, Levi, in that regards. But that's all I got, guys. If I had to guess, I started episode 95. I'm roughly 10 or 15 minutes into it, maybe. I would say, like, as far as the dialogue goes. I will say the first 10, what I have written right now is literally all Planet 3756R. If it's 15 minutes of dialogue, all 15 minutes have been the fight sequence so far. Whatever amount of time it's been, which I'm going to say it's roughly, I want to say I'm on slide 90 something, and it's been nothing but the fight on this desolate planet. So yes, it's a big fight sequence. It has been, but yeah. There's also a lot of slides that has, picture dialogue. Like it's literally a full picture slide of artwork with the little 1 or 2 lines of dialogue above it. There's probably a good portion of slides that are like that. So don't think it's like, oh my God, it's the first 90, the first 90 slides are this fight. No, well, there's also like 45 or 50 slides that are the opening credits. So keep that in mind as well. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for episode 94. As far as that was all I got for an update on episode 95. It has started. I'm just stuck. I'm stuck between dialogues. Originally, I wound up not going with this idea, mainly because I wrote this at work, and my writing at work is not as good because I'm trying to write as I'm waiting to do a job, because I have to wait for them to finish filling up a rack before I have to move it. So I was trying to write this really quick at work, and the original thing I had was that Eon gets shot in the head by Eclipse. Eclipse goes to shoot Cheese, and like Cream darts off to save Cheese. She saves Cheese, but then she gets clipped on the side by Eclipse's death beam, and then the death beam goes directly right through Aeon's skull, and it kills Aeon instantly. So like Eon dies, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that turned out. So I wound up nixing it, and I'm going with something different. But like, like that's why I said I wasn't sure. I'm like leaning toward two different ideas right now. As long as I get to the ultimate storyline that's supposed to come out of it, that's all that matters. Michael Collins, but I always thought Nightmare Sonic was done for good. Well, he technically is. Pretty much just Sonic's magic can create him. So, and the funny thing is that when Sonic does create Nightmare Sonic magically, somehow Nightmare Sonic keeps his memories. So it's kind of cool, like to see the dynamic between him and Sonic now. Like just seeing Nightmare Sonic tease Sonic I was always the best version of you. Or like it was just kind of cool, like the dialogue in that sequence. Nightmare Sonic was just one of those characters that I loved doing the laugh. I loved doing the voice. And he had some pretty savage dialogue. And I was like, can I bring him back into the series? Like, I want to keep him as a character because Plush is voicing regular Sonic. I still want to voice Sonic, and I love Nightmare Sonic. So, like, maybe I can have him have Sonic manifest him with magic, and he can become Sonic's training partner throughout the series. So it's going to be kind of cool. Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that we can incorporate Nightmare Sonic like that. Because he's probably my favorite character that I've voiced in the series, to be honest. Lion God says, G5 is literally G3 and G3.5. It sucks. I agree. I haven't given that series much of a chance. I don't like what they did with it. I don't like what they did with it. And even like most of the characters, most of the actors that you had in the G5 movie aren't even in the real show now. So it makes no sense. I wish they would not have ended G4. I really wish they would not have. Elijah says, why am I now imagining Hunter attempting to push Sonic instead of Shadow? I don't know. I think Hunter is just such good friends with Sonic. I don't think he could fight Sonic as far as like that goes. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting to see Hunter push Sonic. But I think Hunter's main objective here is to befriend Shadow. Like he wants to befriend Shadow. I'm not saying that I'm not going to maybe have Hunter train with Sonic, but I mean, it's something to think about. It is something to think about. Levi's also not surprised that Hunter would do that. I agree. I think it would be an interesting little dynamic there to see if Hunter trains with Sonic. Michael Collins said, well, Lion God, G5 has pretty much confirmed that alicorns are not immortal. I actually have not seen more than 2 or 3 episodes of that, and they were really like sporadically spread out. I know the comic book is further along, I think. I think the comic series is further along. I can't get into the series. I don't know what it is. I know the comic book. I read little spoilers about G5. Um, I've seen some stuff on it as far. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure if these are fan made or if this is real canon series. My daughter said she saw G5, and she asked me if I was watching it. And I said no because I read some of the spoilers from the comic book as well, and I didn't like what some of the spoilers were saying. Um, yeah, apparently Lion God said the comics are even worse. Yeah, I'm not following G5 as well as I should be or should have been. Like I said, I really after I saw the movie, I had no passion whatsoever to continue on being a brony, other than what I'm doing on my own channel, uh, and basically the G4 stuff. So I didn't like the overall plot line when we what we saw in the movie. I was just kind of like, really? So friendship ended, and all the ponies started hating each other. That just doesn't seem right. Um, I agree with Sonic. Nothing can beat OG. I do agree. Um, Michael Collins said, "Oh God, I'm getting tired. It's already 10 o'clock. I gotta end the stream here shortly. I've been talking for 2.5 hours. Oh man." Um, Michael Collins. The reason I think alicorns only age slowly is because it makes no sense for Celestia to step down otherwise. See, and I always thought because they live, I swear to God that they say that they're immortal at some point. Yeah, because even Twilight says they're immortal. They're agelessly immortal, but they can die. What I want to know is now they brought Twilight back. Apparently, that they were bringing Twilight into G5 to try to save G5. So what happened with Twilight? Did she fail at something and just left? And left Equestria to rot? Because if I'm not mistaken, if the pony tribes were all separate, like the Pegasi, Earth, and the if they were all separated, shouldn't that have brought about the Wendigos? Like, what happened to the Wendigos? Because if the ponies are not unified, it brings about the Wendigos. So I never understood that in the movie. It's like, where are the Wendigos? Wait, if they're all separated, we're supposed to, yeah, like, where is the Wendigos? So I kind of just lost interest with G5 after the movie. I've been trying to follow up with some of like what people have been saying about the comics, and none of it's been good. Um, I know the G4 comic, the season 10 Friendship is Magic comic, I know that was doing fairly well. People seem to be reading that one more, but I also heard some critical things that a lot of people don't like what they're doing with the Friendship is Magic comic. Some people aren't in favor of what's going on there either. So I'm confused by the whole thing. G4 had to, this is Michael Collins. G4 had to end, otherwise you would have SpongeBob or the Fairy Odd Parents. I know, it's just to see a show end. That was, and the bad thing is I don't understand it. Like MLP, the G4 was at like the height of its popularity when they decided to cancel the series. You were like 2 years removed from a very good movie. I thought we were supposed to get another G4 movie in the theaters, but we haven't yet. But I felt like you were at the height of your popularity with that series, and then you ended that season. And then I wasn't a fan of the way they ended the series, to be honest with you. I wasn't. Lion God said that's what everyone was asking. Probably what happened to fucking Twilight. It was never canon in the first place. Lion God laughing. Elijah says, I remember reading a dub that actually brought up said issue. Lion God says, just like Adventure Time and the regular show, says Levi McClellan. All right, guys. Go ahead and get those any last minute chats in. I'm getting ready to go ahead and call it a night here shortly. I want to thank you guys for joining me in this very long live stream, 2.5 hours. Well, with the Wendigos. Yeah, Elijah says with the Wendigos. Exactly. I don't understand how the Wendigos did not show up and were not present in G5. No, I would not want G4 to go on forever, Michael. I just think there was so much more they could have done with that series following. I don't know. There was more. You could have introduced different bad guys. I would have liked to have seen a couple of seasons with Twilight being the ruler. And I think, thinking about it now, if MLP would have given MLP Friendship is Magic one more season, yes, okay, you could show Twilight as a full-grown alicorn, but I really wish they would have shown, if you were going to do G5, the final season of MLP G4 should have been tying, that whole last season should have been tying into G5 about what happens. I really think that would have been cool. They should have did one more season of MLP Friendship is Magic, so they could have tied in to G5. And I think it would have made more sense, and it wouldn't have pissed so many people off. Lion God says canceled in its prime. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It was canceled in its prime. It was 2 years after a very successful movie. Let's be honest, the G4 toys are still selling. They're still selling G4 toys like it goes out of style. So you ended that series like right at, like, it was still popular. Elijah says, according to Twilight, they had hunted them into extinction. What? Where was this, Elijah? This was like comic book? Twilight says this? Or was this... Now, who was the they that hunted them into extinction? The alicorns? See, again, I don't know, because I don't know if this is from the comic, if this is from somebody who's read the comic, or if this is from the canon series. That's crazy. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm adding Sequel Doom. I don't. Nazo, I'm not adding because I'm doing Enerjack. Scourge, no. Fun fact, season 3 was supposed to be the end of My Little Pony. And I heard that because they went on a writer's strike. They were on a writer's strike for season 3, but they brought it back. Elijah put some kind of video I found on YouTube. Huh. All right, guys. I'm glad you guys joined me for this live stream. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream. And then, Elijah says, and essentially imagined what would happen if Sonny had met Twilight. Michael Collins, but look on Discord and I explain what happens to the Wendigos. All right, good, because I need to know that, because I kind of, that's something I need to know. The Wendigos are going to be part of the series. The Wendigos. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys again for joining me tonight on the stream. I was not anticipating on being live for 2.5 hours, but another good stream. I'm glad I get to talk to you guys. But until next time, guys, I'm going to see you guys next time. Have a good night and be safe out there, guys. Thanks for joining me.